And thank you again. So first to share with the most important people. We okay. So I've been preparing this little course to help people, men, women. Sometimes they're still children, so we don't still call them we don't call them by the name that they are. Yeah. So I will say that your emotions come from somewhere. Your emotions are really, really responsible for what really happens in your life after. If you are not able to manage emotions very, very well, you might end up being sorry. And by sorry, I mean really, really sorry. Yeah, I think that would be better so that I can work. Really, really sorry about yourself. And that doesn't end there. It's just the beginning of another lifelong a lifelong struggle. So this course, or rather this video, I've prepared it for those people that are really struggling with trauma, and it's their coming out challenge. Those that would want the recorded version of everything plus the full course, you will have to come to the mastermind community or to the mastermind application and find Emily Mwale's course. For the moment, as I am helping you prepare that roadmap to your healing, I want to awaken that inner man in you. I want to make you disturbed enough by being in that comfort zone, because I was in a comfort zone for so long until life happened again. Yeah, life happened and you become a victim of circumstances, or circumstances become your victim. I don't know exactly what your situation is, but I will tell you for real. I just want to be myself. So I will stop being so many complicated things, because I learned that I am me, who I am, and not that kind of person you have decided should be me. And you too, you might need to come to that point in life where you're going to decide if you're going to live in that suicidal thought, we are going to live in total resentment of yourself, others, or anything that you think is the reason as to why you are in that circumstance. To some, you are there because you had a breakup from the man that you thought you loved so much and didn't deserve to be left, and they actually left. And when they left you, you really assumed that they have left you because they really are very mean people. And the mean people that they are, you have ended up having more than life could offer you, or you had less, and you're beginning to feel inadequate, like I felt at some point in life. I felt so inadequate despite all the educational background, despite all that daddy's little bright girl that was. I went through a lot in my mind mostly. I battled with anxiety because of several traumas that I suffered. So as a little girl, as a child, I suffered. I fell from the bed because I was supposed to be sleeping with my sister, and nobody really knew why on when actually it happened. I had a fall off with my head facing down. And when I had this fall with my head facing down, I was told that uh, later on I stopped suckling. I was 2 weeks old. I stopped suckling. I stopped interacting with everyone, and I stopped dealing with life as I should have. And by doing this, I'm the one who experienced the fall. And I was the one, that little child that was crying down there and in the middle of wood, in between the bed and the wall. They had put wood just to make sure that I don't fall off. But I actually fell and I was trapped in between. And my sister, not knowing what to do, she panics and she pulls me out. And there's that pain that I felt, that up to today I cannot really endure. Anything that is so painful, I can't endure. People think, oh, it's a last born syndrome. It's not a last born syndrome. It's because I experienced something in life that was, I cannot explain to you what it was. But even today, I still have dreams of me being in that little, it's like I'm in a little, um, either I'm buried alive, I'm in a not in a river, but in a well, and something like that. So for me to awaken you, you may need to understand, or rather, you want to confirm that, is it this person that is talking to me here that can really help my life, or is someone else that can help you? Some of you might need, after this, you might need to go and really consult your GP so that they can recommend you to go and see a psychologist, or rather you might be either be put into a clinic where they take care of people who have a mental illness. I resisted taking help when my father offered me when I was 11 and I had severe migraines, and the migraines were coming after I had that dream, that strange dream of me being caught up in between something. I relived that moment, and I was the only one to know that. The other extraordinary thing that happened is I wasn't sure whether I'm in a real world or in another world. At some point, I convinced myself, when my personality began to split, that I come from, either I'm a marine spirit and I come from another world that is not this one. And then based on what was also happening to my other sister that left us, she had some painful leg with the swelling, and they decided to cut it to make sure it's not going to be cancerous. Just like many interventions happened, and then we lost her, and I didn't understand what had happened. I kept waiting for her to come up and eat with me, because she was, when she would be at the table, she was really the joy of the family. And for families who have lost someone, especially in this time that we are in, you know what it feels to really be in that, a denial that it really happened, that this person is no longer with us, that this person cannot really be there with us always, and rather forever. So without further beating around the bush, let us just nail it. Let us slay that dragon called fear. I lived in constant fear of abandonment, because at some point in life, I wasn't protected by people that was actually were entrusted to protect me. I was always on the guard for a very, very long time. I stopped being a child, and I was actually I would say I was more of uh how do I was an adult living in a child. I would go out there to protect myself. I would visualize what would be the next thing, and I always thought in the worst case scenario. That is what some traumatic events make you become. So I created this methodology that worked for me, which I understand today people call it meditation. I put myself in something like a trance, and I will imagine myself in the arms of my mother. She was present, she was home, but I really missed her. We were so many. We were biological 12 plus others. We were never less than 22, and it was hard for her to pay attention to everyone. And when she came home and she'd give me a little biscuit, a cake, or from whatever she's made in the day, to her, she had just done her part of parenting. But when people are told that you need to plan your family and wherever, you think like people are insulting you. But people like me that had very specific needs, wounds, physical, psychology, that was so deep and had not been addressed, you are actually not able to really see through us. And at some point, I became very, very selfish. And my selfishness went so far. I was competing. Since I was fighting, it was for survival for the fittest was the thing. Since I was fighting to get out of this situation, I constantly found myself trapped between reality and my imagination. And that continuity of that gave me severe stomach ulcers. I had very severe bleeding ulcers, which resulted to medication and over medication or wrong medication. At some point, I was abused by a doctor who decided he wanted to make more money, and he scared me and told me that I have cancer of the esophagus, although we know that it affects men. He had not done any test, but he decided that I had cancer of the esophagus to just continue to put more. That is how far mean and cruel people can go when they need to make an end to their living. So the transformation that I had, first I had an encounter with life where I was growing up and schools were different rules. I was put in a boarding school. I was afraid of what will happen, and I kept going back home to be checking to see that all the things that were in imagination were not really there. And I will really fall very, very, very sick. But the doctors will not find the disease, because you cannot find a disease that is inside the mind. And the feeling is real. The pain is real. That piercing pain that I would feel from here, which was actually because I was stressing up a lot. And there was another challenge of dealing with my mom's condition, where she was overprotective of certain things about herself. Number one being the family. It was number one, it was priority. And she would do things that to others it is wrong, but to her she's doing the very best thing to never make her children experience what she experienced growing up as a child. So you see, a child that has been traumatized and ends up being either borderline becomes a mother who is also thinking in the extremities, which is also severe borderline. So you can say it is inherited, but it is not inherited like as it is passing into your genes, but it is passing from my experience, and I do something to my children, thinking that I love them, and then this thing gets out of hand and it becomes toxic. So we have dysfunctional families today because of that. So don't blame that your parent for the kind of things they are doing. I'd rather you recommend that they kind of come out there and find some help. There are so many of us doing forever, and it is to make people get better, to heal their mind. And inside the courses that I prepared, you find how different techniques that I have prepared to help you come out of the challenge, which is the games of the mind. Your mind can tell you they are coming for you. Mind can tell you everyone is against you. Your mind can tell you you're gonna die soon if you've been just announced something from a medical report. But some people die of cancer, others survive. Some people die of autoimmune disorders, others heal, and it becomes history. So you don't have to be what you had in the story. What the story was in the mind of my mother, that is why she was protecting us so much, is she might die and we might end up in the hands of a stepmother. And she was doing everything, fighting and fighting and fighting, over spiritualized, and some people stigmatized her because of her spirituality, but it was her way of the coping with the situation. My way also of coping with the situation, I got a little bit spiritual when it was convenient, and because I wouldn't do the opposite of what my mother wanted me to be. But it was not really working, because in there they're talking about hell. I'm already suffering on earth and you're talking about hell all the time. So spirituality at that time didn't work so much. A little bit, it was just to help release the energy, but it didn't work. I tried my uncle's religion, Islam, looked for a name, and in hiding, no one knows about that. They complicated things in my life, and I said, okay, bye-bye, uncle. May he rest in peace. Yeah, he was also responsible for me ending up making a wrong decision in a certain point in life. And when he was leaving this earth, it was very painful for me, because how could I continue blaming him and being so harsh on him and judgmental when I need to release him so that he feels better, because he ended up developing cancer because of many other concerns in his life. And now he was going with a feeling of guilt, which speeds up the time that you leave this earth in that scenario. Now, I had experiences. I don't know about your experiences. Those were my experiences. Other experiences, you find them in my mastermind courses. But to go through certain mental conditions, like for example, when you are sometimes that high, and sometimes very, very low, and sometimes you're suicidal and people don't know about it. And then when they come and pick you, like in one time when Papa had to come and pick me from that almost life and death. And I wake up in hospital and know that I didn't die, and I look around to see if it is possible to overdose myself in absentia, because I was alone, and there was the nurse she loved her sleep better than looking after us. So as I was alone there with thoughts of how to quickly end my life without being noticed. I didn't know, as a child, I didn't know that when you die, they do a postmortem, and of course, they will know what I've done. And in my community, we have strong beliefs that people who kill themselves, there are certain things that cannot happen, like people cannot even celebrate your burial. They get rid of you from like the shit you treated yourself. Yeah. So okay, it was their way of managing situations like that. So knowing that no one will be there to even mourn you, and you are there, you're feeling alone, abandoned, disappointed. You maybe didn't have the liberty, because some people have made it a very big deal of discrimination. My mom enjoyed exclusion and discrimination technically all her life. First, it was her stepmother, then it was her in-laws, then it became her children alienating themselves from her because they were miseducated, thinking that an uneducated woman, as in never went to university and all those kind of things, is not good enough to be their mother, and they thought that she didn't know anything. And I feel bad because they never, up to today, they have never known how much harm they did to this woman, and it put her on the edge so much. And I said, because I cared so much about her, because I wanted that my mom, the best, my angel, my hero, to be with me, but she couldn't, because she had several battlefields that she was dealing with inside her mind, from her past, from the rejection and the alienation, that she managed to have a coping mechanism. She joined a certain sect, where people call it a cult, to feel better, because they would make her believe that they are predicting what is going to happen to us. And in most cases, they were only putting her on the edge and telling her all manner of bad things that are happening in 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 our lives, or would happen in our lives. And she was forever insecure, and her insecurity made her go overboard. And why am I talking about her? Because your mother could also be going through all this. She could have become the biggest employer. Yeah, because when you pay your pastor, you've employed, and you're paying him very well. So to the biggest ministry, and nothing is changing, because in church she's another person, and at home she's a monster, and you don't understand why. You could be there where you are feeling you're not enough. You could be there, you have so much money, but you don't have enough peace. You are a celebrity, all the likes, you're an influencer, all the following that you have, but deep inside you, you feel empty. That state of your mind can be reversed. And how do you reverse this kind of state of mind? By working on your strengths and not your weaknesses. You can do this by building confidence. And how do you build confidence? You can't build confidence by listening to negativity. There are people in your life that you might have to cut off. I cut off my entire family for the time that I needed healing, and they didn't know that I was cutting them off. It didn't work, because anytime I was down, I deliberately would stop to work, so that I don't have finances, because I knew they don't like poor people. They were brought up that you go to school, you work hard, you have your money. So I deliberately did not go to work, so that I don't have the much money that would make them withdraw to me. I saw they had a nature of, I mean, my own family, including the extended, because as we never had singly, it was never a nuclear family, it was always an extended family. So to build on my confidence, I had to make sure I cut off all toxic people. My sister loved me so much, and she thought she was overprotecting me. And at some point, she got so frustrated when she proposed that I go and do a certain course. And me, I was doing everything not to be able to have money with me, so that I don't have a way to go and make myself beautiful, to look like the person that I was told in a story back in my life, that if you look like this person, you look like Jezebel. And if you look like Jezebel, you are attracting wrong men into your life, and they're going to use you and dump you. And that thing went on and on and on. So I needed to look as messy as possible. I have never taken a photo actually, I started taking the first photo 5 years ago. 5 or 7 years ago, the photos, because I wasn't taking any photos anymore. I cannot give you a photo of that old me. It was nasty. I stopped taking at 16, and then there was that gap. It was very nasty. It was not something that I want anyone to experience. So I work on my confidence by first cutting out toxic people. That is priority. If you have to heal and you are borderline, or either you could have developed borderline personality, nothing happened, you became narcissistic. Either you became an empath, you become Mother Teresa. I know of a friend of mine that I will reach out to her because she became, they call her collect it all, loosely translated. Yeah. So she collects all children. I don't know what she's trying to compensate for, but she collects all children. You find a child that is vulnerable out there, she will go collect, and she wants to make the life of that child better. She's adopted several children that are dumped from the streets, but she's not doing very okay in the mind, but that helps her move on. So you might need to find a life. I did find a life when all these things that were defined there in charge in all those social meetings that I had to go to, when they were not able to really work for me, for me the way I wanted it to work. So I invested in reading books of people that made me feel better about myself. And that better feeling, I discovered dance, and I went into the Zumba sessions, and I realized dance worked for me so well, because even when I was young, 16, when it got so bad, I went to the drama school and I made sure where there is music, that is where I am, so that I just dance it off, that anxiety, I check off that trauma, that thing. And when I was not there, I wasn't well. When I was not there, I wasn't well. But the contrary to this, no one wanted to water that part in me to go and do just what I love doing most. They wanted me to either come out a doctor, or a teacher, or just any other civil servant. So things like that were discouraged, and they didn't know what they were doing to me. So I felt empty, and I crashed inside. I was in split pieces. Where I'm with them, I'm this girl. When I am with the people that I want to be, I developed split personality. And it worked, because when I was doing sales, that split personality helped me. When I am with a rich man, I act very rich. When I'm with the poor, I put on a face that looks like them. And when I'm with the normal people, I'm very much myself. I'm normal. So imagine having to be those different kind of people is very, very difficult. So if you thought you were going here to speak to doctor psychiatrists, what? I'm not doctor psychiatrist. I'm the patient that they worked on, and I'm giving you the result. I'm here because whatever they did worked. Some didn't work. I fired a psychiatrist because I wasn't crazy. I was dealing with trauma, and he was not helping me enough. Some techniques don't really work. Well, I can't ask you to do what I'm doing right now, because you are not ready. But I would ask you to invite you to come and adopt the program that I've prepared, so that we walk through this journey together. And you are healed when you are healed. You stop taking the courses when you really feel you are okay. When you relapse, trauma is just like drug addiction. When you relapse, you fall back to the notes, and we see what we can do together. So it is written. The videos are just to accompany you, because you may need to be talking to a person. So the videos are there to accompany you, to make you take care of that mess, and in future you convert it into a message, and you'll be surprised. You're going to help a lot of people, you too, in your life. So don't bargain so much about what things about you that you need to work on, that are your weaknesses. There's no weakness to work on. My borderline personality, it makes me very, very suspicious. That means my antennas are always up. Me, I see danger before others, and that is the good points in it. And the other thing that I picked that is good out of I've become more caring. Why? Since I was baptized by fire, involved with an narcissistic sociopath, and I survived in their hands, I came out alive. Instead of now trying to kill myself, I now tried to run. I ran one, I ran the second one, and now I'm here. I'm not running again. I'm facing it. So you may need also to face that situation. What you cannot change, you grace it. So there's that story in your mind. I don't know who told you that story. That maybe they have told you, now you are this age, you're not. I tell everyone that there's nothing like an age for marriage. Me, I see people that are very old. They're supposed to be put in the home for the elderly, and that is when now they decide that they want to get married at that point. So marriage is possible at any age, because it is just two adults consenting to live together for common cause. Sometimes it's to have children, sometimes it's for companionship. So stop misjudging yourself and thinking you are useless, because you are just not that useless. Identify that villain in you, that monster, that parasite is in you, that is always telling you things like you're not good enough, that is telling you that you are a depressed, fat, very thin, ugly, foolish, black, extra white, or extra pink, big lips, big nose, anything else that it is telling you, that is making you not get ready to get out of yourself. I don't know what it is that story is, that is the voice inside you, that it keep repeating yourself whenever when you want to try to do something. It's getting you to just identify it, and whenever it speaks, shout it down and work on what is your strength, and continue doing that is what is inside you that is so good, and do it over and over again until that perfect you is the one that you're going to refine. We don't, that imperfect you, we are going to completely ignore it. And then I've told you women don't run companies. Yes, has made you feel so incapable and incompetent. I've told you women don't. I had that story for a long time, and then I went to an interview, and a man who was thinking that way also made me a manager when he was looking for just an aide in one of his showroom. So I don't know what he saw. I think that being so much on the edge and fighting all the odds made him see the value in me. Me, I was not seeing anything in me. In fact, I went there by mistake. I was looking for something else, and then they hired me. So you are there because they taught you that you are in that state in your mind, not where you are, the state in your mind. They taught you that. Either it's your religion, either it's the association that you pair with, either it could be anything out there. But whatever it is that is making you be who that person is, that can be fixed. And that is why I prepared Realfix, and this is the coming out challenge. See you when you get on board. You can never live away from your folks, is what they told you. And now they're giving you that job abroad and you won't go and take it. I beat that. I'm in Europe, the rest are in Africa. Everyone else doesn't desire me. Everyone else thinks I'm ugly. They think I'm a hoe. They think, I don't know what it is they made you start thinking. Now, that is the kind of thing that you may have to deal with to help yourself heal from the inside. We are on the journey to healing you. And if you feel overwhelmed, you feel dejected, you feel pissed up with life, all those are the literally two signs of things that are going on inside the mind. And when you clean that mind, then your outer appearance will also start to improve. Yeah. When you look at me in December, I was doing so well because the monster had come back to life, and I didn't know that I need to shut it down. So when I did shut it down, I stopped everything. I canceled every program that I was doing. I canceled even my favorite. I'll go back, click panels. I canceled. Why? Because people there were already made. They're very bad. But that monster came and told me, you are not like them. But I had a following, but I was ignoring that following. They were not listening to me for fun. They were listening because I had something. But I didn't believe that thing was important. But I got baptism by the accelerated formula in mastermind. And if you haven't done that, try and go and sign up. Yeah, we still have time. I think 1.5 days. You can go and still and sign up. Otherwise, find me in mastermind.com. Take a deep breath and look at yourself in the mirror and introduce the new you to the world. That new you that the world is waiting to meet. See you in the next version of you. That has been Emily Mwale, aka Digits Mom. There's a group there. There's a fan page there. You can go and join. You can find me in Web Talk. I give bits and bits and bits. I will not stop helping people because I never got help. So I'm paying back what I never had. I never got help. I helped myself. I looked for solutions everywhere until I found. So you've had everything that you've had. You want to know more about me? You go to my YouTube and you'll find me there. I'm explaining it in a short video. But this, it has been my mastermind coming out when? That's the first module. The other modules are inside the training. You might need to go and check it out. For the first few 100, I might give you at a very, 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 very crazy price. So be there very, very fast. Don't waste time. Be there very, very fast. Take that uncomfortable action. Jump on board. I got so much to deliver, but I don't want to leave you outside. My courses will be only by invitation because there are a lot of people out there that are not doing so well in their mind and they're looking for someone. Mystery Labs company. So they're looking for someone to do that with them. So let us start believing in you. Help me help you. This has been goganseworld, the Realfix. So we're trying to share there. You will leave your comments. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for staying tuned. I'll be seeing you around.